Well, it's official. Dodge is sinking, and they are sinking very quickly. Unfortunately, it's not just Dodge, it is the entire Stellantis as a whole. Now, I'm sure you've seen all the turmoil lately with them wanting to supposedly replace their CEO at Stellantis. Let's kick things off with some of the crazy things that are going on. Like this weekend in Detroit, they're laying off 200 quote unquote temporary workers to replace people who are taking vacationing in the summer. However, they're also laying off a bunch of, well, a handful. I've heard numbers like a dozen, which almost seems negligible, of full time employees as well. There have been talks of up to 2,500 layoffs company wide, and I believe that is targeted at especially America, where Stellantis has a pile of production. And as I said earlier, they are essentially sinking. Their global sales are down 48% in the first half of this year. Getting close to Christmas, that number is only expected to drop, especially as we'll see people start saving money to buy presents and put them under the tree instead of getting themselves a brand new vehicle. But here's some very easy and obvious observations. Hyundai, who people more or less used to hate, it was a cheap throwaway car. However, they have risen to the top in recent years, and they are selling just that, the cheap throwaway, not so throwaway car. The Elantra is a great cheap car. Um, we used to have that. Stellantis, I mean, they own 14 companies now, sure, but we used to have that with Dodge and Plymouth. We all remember the Neon. Sure, they blew up at 60 or 70,000 miles, but it was a cheap throwaway car, and people bought them and didn't really think twice. I think what we've seen in Stellantis where they have gone wrong is by trying to sell vehicles to a market that simply does not exist. Jacking up prices on their Ram trucks, rebranding Ram as its own entity for reasons that no one understands. But they're trying to sell these $100,000 trucks and SUVs. The Jeep is no different. The Cherokee, Sahara, they're well over $100,000 optioned out with Hemis and whatnot. And nobody is buying. Something like 7 or 8 of the top 10 we're selling vehicles is owned by the Stellantis brand, and most of those are Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. And unfortunately, the most of that production is in America, so this is a huge hit to the UAW and the American economy, North America for that matter as well, as there is production on both sides of the border. But I think what we're seeing here is a large-scale attack almost on the American working class, where these large corporations come in, rebrand everything, take a pile of money, and essentially leave. And that really feels like that's what Stellantis is doing. They can sit here and tell us that it's, they're rebranding or they're trying to find efficiencies, but what's efficient? GM has half the employees that Stellantis has. Half. And it just seems very obvious that they are not content until they keep pushing production. We've seen they're moving production to China. There's a large scale of production going to Canada as Windsor is just about finished their battery plant. That beautiful bridge they just built between Windsor and Detroit? Realistically, it's a shipping lane. And on that shipping lane is not only going to be batteries going back and forth, but it's jobs going from America to Canada. But you can't even blame Canada because their government gave $15 billion in subsidies and construction costs to make that plant happen. When is the last time you saw something like that come out of Detroit? And we can easily argue that they can't afford it, and that's very true. But you think they would want to invest in themselves? Also seen rumors that Tim Kuniskis, the former CEO of Dodge, who essentially gave us the Hellcat and really revived the muscle car in North America, there's a lot of rumors floating around that he will replace the CEO of Stellantis. I can assure you there's zero base and even less chance of that happening because they essentially fired him. They kicked him out basically when he was questioning them for relieving the brand of the Hemi. But hey, I guess he gets the last laugh because look at them now, pretty much going bankrupt and taking all of UAW North American workers with them. And we could sit here and argue that the last administration was pretty good at creating money, but realistically, Stellantis is out here losing money faster than Biden could even try and print it. But unfortunately, the falsehood that we've been sold, where if you build it, they will come, is simply not true in the Dodge, Jeep, and Ram world that Stellantis has tried to create by taking vehicles that the everyday affordability was there for the average family. And now, like I said, with these $100,000 price tags, it's not that people don't want to buy them. People simply can't. We have record high interest rates, and people are sitting here having to go and sign mortgages. People are throwing the keys at the bank because they can't afford to re-sign their mortgages. renting out, spots in their home, whatever they got to do to survive. And unfortunately, a six-figure vehicle is really just not part of that equation. So I definitely do plan on doing some deep dives further into this subject related to Stellantis, as the ship has basically hit the iceberg and it's just starting to take on water. And it is going to get very ugly, and this is really just the start, because when you start looking into the company's financials, they are very, very dire and only going to get worse because no one is buying their products. And why would you, when companies like Hyundai offer cheaper vehicles with arguably better resale value, and also the big one nowadays, reliability? How many recalls are out there on Stellantis products? It's just nuts.